It's Monday and we're at the beginning of a new unit. This would be unit 11, week 1, and it's all about farm animals. Over the next 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about farm life, who lives on a farm, what happens on a farm, and what we use farms for. And we are also going to be introducing a new math skill, which is comparing quantities. So more and less. We're going to get a little more into that this week. As always, we're going to use simple and basic activities that are going to help your children build the foundation of science, math, and language skills that are going to follow them throughout the rest of their life. We're going to use simple resources from around the house, and if you don't have the exact same supplies that we're using, you will easily find something else that is suitable for you and your family. If you've just stumbled upon this video, I will be sure to link our playlist so you can catch us right from the beginning at week 1, unit 1. I'll be sure to list some of the supplies and books that we're going to need for this unit in the description below. And if you don't have the books, don't worry about it. Just go to YouTube. That's where we go. As always, you're going to start the morning with your circle time or calendar routine, and then you're going to introduce the topic of farms and talk about what is a farm, who lives on a farm, and what happens on a farm. You want to include the song and the poem for this unit, which I will include a screenshot of. And then you want to get into today's read aloud, which is Big Red Barn. For our things to talk about today, you simply want to do a picture walk through this book first, trying to guess what's going to happen with your child, and then go back and watch or read aloud. Our learning activity is sorting animals, and our easy activity is moving like animals. So let's do this. This morning we started out with our topic and talking about farms, and we're lucky enough to live a little bit removed from the city, so this is a familiar topic for us. We got into our book this morning, which as soon as we started watching it on YouTube, I realized we have this book, but it's kind of become a habit to watch the videos or watch the books on YouTube, and Nola really likes it, so we watched it a few times through on YouTube. After the book, we started to talk a lot more about the jobs of the animals on the farm, as that is a topic that we haven't really gotten too in depth on, and that would also go along with our things to talk about today, is what all these animals do on the farm. Then we got into our learning activity, which is to sort animals. You're going to want to grab a fair-sized bin with a generous amount of animals. They don't have to be just farm animals, because for this activity, your kiddo is to sort farm animals from non-farm animals. Now, we had a combination here of just the plastic animals that we have, a couple of wooden ones, some bath toys, and some fridge magnet animals. To get a good variety. I even threw a couple dinosaurs in there, I think. And this was a fun activity. Nola liked playing with the animals first because we've never had so many of them in one spot at one particular time. And she had no problem sorting them. And then again, we reviewed the jobs of the particular animals that we had. Now for our easy activity is to move like animals. You are to create a die and you are to write the names of some farm animals on either sides. So I just simply took a building block cube that we have and cut out some paper sides and wrote our animals on either sides. And then for this game, you are to take turns rolling the dice, and then you are to move and act like the animal that you rolled. So this will be a great fun game that you can play with all members of the family. Get everybody up, get everybody moving, and just have fun with it. You can even cheat a little like we did for our little guy, and when it was his turn, we just told him an animal that he knew how to make the sound of. Nola, sheep. Puppy dog. Cat. Oh, no. Nola, horse.
Nay.
Colton, horse. What does a pig say? Yeah. And he really, really enjoyed watching us all parade around the house making funny noises and acting like animals. And that's it for today. Tuesday. So today you want to start, as always, with your morning circle time or calendar routine, and then review the topic of farms and ask your child what is a farm and perhaps what are their favorite farm animals. Now, Nola took this opportunity to remind me of some farms that we have close by. Just down the street, we have a neighbor that has a couple of goats, which in the past we've been lucky enough to be able to pet and feed these goats. We also have a llama farm just around the corner, not walking distance around the corner, but close enough to you can take the long way around when you go for a drive. We also have a horse farm just around another corner, and we do have a neighbor down the street who has a couple of chickens and a rooster that you can see from the sidewalk. We also used our Old MacDonald song to highlight some of her favorite farm animals. For your things to talk about today, you want to introduce the letter F. So you want to have this written in both upper and lower case on a piece of paper, chalkboard, whiteboard, whatever you've got. Also include some familiar words that begin with this letter and go over the sound this letter makes. We continued with our tracing activity. where I'll have both upper and lowercase written on a couple of pieces of paper, and I assist Nola where she needs it and then let her go freehand and do the tracing all on her own. Also, with the poem that is included with this unit, she noticed that there is a line of the farmer sowing his seeds. This caught her attention and she asked me how a farmer would sow seeds. She was thinking with a needle and thread sow, so I explained to her how this could be the process of planting seeds, which is something she has just very recently done with her dad, starting out our seeds inside for our veggie garden. She plants them, she waters them every day with her, and we have a few that have just begun to sprout. So that just kind of helped her wrap her head around this new language. Then we got into our easy activity first today, which is counting sheep. So for this activity, you want to have the outline of a sheep drawn on a piece of paper, some cotton balls, and some glue. Now, in the program, it is suggested that you also include a deck of playing cards with the numbers 2 to 10, and have your child flip over a card, and whatever number they flip over is how many cotton balls they will then glue onto the sheep. Nola wasn't too interested in playing this way. She just really wanted to get the sheep full of the wool because this is an activity that we had previously done. So what we did is I had set her up with the glue and the cotton balls and let her fill the sheep up with all of the cotton balls, and then once she was done, we just counted all of the cotton balls as best as we could. It was kind of hard to keep track, but she did fantastic with her counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 20.
30. Oh my goodness. I'll help you with the last bit. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. There's about 36. I don't know if we counted each and every one, but there's about 36. That's one woolly sheep, huh? Then we got into our learning activity, which is an alphabet hunt with the letter F and a flashlight. So get out your Post-its, write the letter F, and spread those Post-its all over the house. Have your kiddo grab a flashlight, go around the house finding the F's and collecting them and bringing them back to you for some more counting. Now, Nola didn't want a flashlight with this. I kind of did this sneakily while she was having some TV time because she always loves the surprise of this game. This is a game she does really enjoy. And this time I hid them in much harder places so that she would find them throughout the day. And she always brings them back and sticks them on the wall with her letter F, and Colton really loves finding these F's with her and bringing them back to the wall. For today's read aloud, it is simply a repeat of yesterday's book. However, Nola did not want to watch yesterday's book again. She wanted to watch The Little Blue Truck instead, but I thought, no problem. This book is also filled with a lot of farm animals and sounds, and we really like the moral of this story, so we watched that book a few more times through, talking more about the farm animals that were included in this book rather than just the whole moral of the story. And that was it for the day. Wednesday. Today you start, as always, with your morning routine along with the song and poem included for this unit, and then you want to get again into the review topic of farms and perhaps ask your child to tell you what they know about farms. Then you want to get into today's read aloud, which is The Very Busy Spider. Now again, this morning, here's our real life popping in. As we turned on our kitchen light, there was a spider right on top of the light switch. Just a little guy, nobody was too scared, so it was a fantastic way to really get into today's vibe, which is more about spiders and smaller farm animals. We also just received this book, which is a sticker book on creepy crawlers. They construct the animals on their own, looking at the little picture, and the ones she chose to do last night were the spiders. We had a tarantula and a regular spider. And she just absolutely loves these books, and so do I. They also have a farm animals on this book, which we had just started doing a couple of weeks ago. They're really affordable. You can get them on Amazon, and they are awesome books. So after that, we got into today's read aloud, which we watched probably 4 or 5 times through. So for our things to talk about today is just to talk about what some of the animals, the smaller animals, do on the farm, and perhaps what kind of sounds they make. For our learning activity today, we are going to be counting and focusing more on more or less. So you want to write out the numbers 1 through 10 on just little squares of construction paper, grab your cotton balls or your sheep's wool, have your child pick 2 numbers and then count out the according amount of balls and then compare more or less. So I was sensing Nola wasn't going to want to play along with this game so much, so I turned it into more of a game actually. And what we did is we had placed all of the numbers face down. Then I let her flip over a number and I flipped over a number and we each counted out the number that we had, and then we talked about more or less. Now this is a subject that Nola and I have talked about a few times before, so she kind of already got the idea, and this just really drove that idea home. And then for our last round, I suggested we each just grab a bunch of cotton balls and count them out to see who had more or less, and go figure, we picked the same amount, of course. So we did it again until we got it right. Also, later on throughout the day, we went outside to our 15 to 20 centimeters of snow that have been falling here on April 21st. We proceeded to catch snowflakes on our tongue and shout out the number that we had caught and talk about if we had more or less. Once we came back in to eat, we did this again with our little pieces of pancake and pieces of food, and we've just really been carrying on this idea all throughout the day wherever the opportunity arises. Our easy activity today is muddy footprints. So for this one, you're to grab some of those farm animal toys, get out some brown paint and a piece of paper, and then have your child march the animals through the mud and then onto the paper to see their footprints. Now for this activity, Nola chose some animals that weren't farm animals because she pointed out to me that the farm animals have hooves and some of our other zoo animals have paws. And she's not wrong. So we got all the animals that she had picked, marched them through the paint, marched them over the paper, and examined their paw prints. And that's all for today. Wednesday. Today you are to start, as always, with your morning routine, and then for our review topic, you want to play a little guessing game called What Am I? Where you will give some clues like I live on a farm, I eat grass, you get milk from me, what am I? And so on and so forth with some other farm animals. Today's read aloud is simply a repeat of yesterday's read aloud. Then our things to talk about today is to revisit the letter F. So you want to have this written out along with some familiar words beginning with this letter, and then go back through the read aloud and try to find a couple of upper and lowercase f's on just a few pages. For this activity today, we continued on with our tracing, and this time I printed the letters a bit smaller than usual to see if Nola can trace those a little easier than the large ones that I was previously drawing. Our learning activity today is to make a spider, and this is what we actually started out with today. So you're going to cut out a couple of shapes along with the legs to make a spider. Help your child glue them together, help them count out how many legs, and it's also suggested that you give this spider 8 eyes as well, which Nola was strongly against because of the sticker activities we had just done a couple of nights ago. She is just convinced that they only have 2 eyes, so that's what we stuck with. After you get your spider all together, then our easy activity is to create a spider web. So for this one, you're going to want to get a piece of white paper, a piece of yarn or string, and some paint, and have your child drag the yarn through the paint and then drag it across the paper in the manner of which they would be making a spider web. Now, while we were doing this activity, Nola said to me, "Can't we just get a paintbrush? It would be way easier." And I just thought that was a great opportunity to open up the conversation, which leads back to the moral of the story or one of the morals of the story with the very busy little spider. And then after that, she proceeded to tell her brother to stop bothering her because she was concentrating. Then you are to take your spider and glue it onto the little spider web, and then it was very, very important that we add the most important part that we had forgotten, which was some bugs. And that's all for today. Friday. After your morning routine, you are going to want to get right into today's read aloud, which is farm animals. After you go through the farm animals, which we watched, whoa, caught you, buddy. How many times did we watch farm animals today?
6 times.
6 times? Yeah, I'd say that's about right. Hang on, Colton, no escaping yet. Things to talk about today, you're going to want to see if your child can recap and retell the story from yesterday, The Very Busy Spider. Help them put together a sequence of the beginning, the middle, and the end of the story. Then for our learning activity today, we're gonna make a little pig. So get a paper plate, cut out a couple of ears and a circle nose, and then help your kiddo, or have your kiddo, paint the whole plate pink. and then help them glue on the ears, a nose, we drew on a mouth, we glued on some googly eyes. And you're gonna wanna save this pig for an activity next week, so hold on to this one. Then after that, we're gonna get into our easy activity, which is to, what did we do, Nola? After we made the pig?
Stick down the ears.
After the pig, what do we do in the kitchen?
Milk a cow.
Milk a cow, and that's toothpaste on her cheek. She won't let me wash off. So you're gonna wanna get a rubber glove of some sort and a bowl or a cup and poke a little hole in one of the fingers or more if you're brave. And fill that glove up with milk and have your kiddo milk that cow. We took this opportunity to recap a cow and a cow's job and what a cow does on the farm and some fun cow facts. And it was a really great activity. Nola milked that cow a few times and then chugged down that bowl of milk. And that's it. Another fantastic day, another fantastic week filled with awesome, easy activities that are keeping our little brains rolling. If you like this video, then show us and give us a thumbs up. Perhaps share this with somebody you think may find this video fun or helpful, and consider subscribing.